What's going on, Ulysses?
Yo, how you doing?
Good, man. And yourself?
I'm all right.
I
Yeah.
appreciate the time and want to get into it, but I feel like manners wise, I got to start off by saying congratulations on 30 years as a band, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, um it's unbelievable, honestly, because bands when you join a band, you're like, maybe this will last a couple years. If you're lucky, maybe 10 if you're really lucky. And it's like here we are. Like I think a lot of that, the idea of longevity, is a big thing with us. And the running joke is that it's the longest relationship any of us has ever been in.
Totally true, man. Take me back to forming the band. How did you guys all get together?
Well, it all started actually out of a Will Dog, our bass player, and our original drummer Anton Morales were part of this LA Conservation Corps, and they were part of this group that would basically do like earthquake preparedness plays for elementary schools.
Okay.
I guess amongst the kids and amongst people who worked for LACC, they decided to try to unionize, and in that they ended up losing their gig. They ended up losing their jobs, and they staged a sit-in protest at this building that they worked at, which was off of Fourth and Bixel in downtown LA. Well, after a mediation and all this stuff, press and everything, what ended up happening is that this group of I don't know, I was like maybe 30, 40 people ended up taking the lease and taking over this building, renaming it the Peace and Justice Center. And it turned out to be like this really vibrant place for inner city youth, for downtown LA, when really there was nothing going on. And over at this space, there was dancers, poets, singers, bands, skateboarding. They had even like ramps in the back. It was very vibrant, So how did Ozomatli get involved? It was basically every weekend. It was like, hey, can we do a party to raise money for the Peace and Justice Center? And do you want to jam? And the people who showed up to jam to help this place out were Ozomatli, the people who ended up being in the band.
Beautiful, beautiful story. And how about for you, man? What got you to actually pick up a musical instrument? Do you remember that spark that lit your musical fire?
Oh, I come from my dad played classical violin,
Oh, wow.
and my mom was always super into music, from classic Mexican music, like uh, you name it, Juan Gabriel and people like that. And my dad was from Spain, but he's super dug classical. But of course, being a kid, I was like screw that noise. I want to learn the electric guitar, yo. Like,
Yeah.
what is up? I mean, I was digging bands like Kiss and Devo and you name it as a kid, like growing up, like all these super cool bands. I want to play guitar. But my dad, in his wisdom, can you hear that helicopter? Is going by me.
A little
Let
bit.
me stop. uh, my dad, he was like, you know what, we're gonna put you in classical piano, and I studied classical piano for a long time, and even though not to say that I hated it, it's not what I wanted at the time, but it's what I needed, and that's really what the thing is. You know what I mean? Like it set an amazing foundation for me, and then after that, I ended up picking up clarinet. Shortly after that, I ended up picking up the sax and then other instruments. And then I ended up playing guitar in like junior high because at that point I was super getting into punk rock and stuff like that. So I was like, no, I'm just learning this on my own.
I was gonna say you finally did get to the guitar. The I'm probably gonna butcher the name. The Requinto Haruko.
Oh, the requinto, the requinto jarocho, and that's an instrument from a specific tradition of a style of music from Veracruz, Mexico, called jarocho music, and for most people, it'd be like, what is jarocho? Well, you've heard jarocho your whole life because like La Bamba is probably like the one of the most famous
Ah,
jarocho songs ever, you
sure.
know. But I don't know if people want a taste of it, you have to kind of get an idea. At the end of like Los Lobos La Bamba, they have this outro where they play it in jarocho style. So it's a set of instruments, and that was introduced to me by Quetzal, one time we were in the studio and he brought one and I just started playing on it and I just felt, I just was inspired by it.
Finally got your guitar.
Yeah. And also, I mean, before that, even I had electric guitars and stuff like that because I wanted to learn Ramon songs. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
You know?
Funny story about the parents because my dad did the same thing. I wanted to play guitar, and he's like, he was a big jazz guy, and so he's like, "Why don't you play drums? Because they have drums in jazz, and this rock thing may not last." But he sent me down that path, and
Right,
I
right,
never
right.
got to the guitar. But I'm curious for you guys too. I mean, do we look at this year as a 30th celebration? Or are we going to back to the like '98? Do you consider that the first year when the first album came out?
No, it would, the way we count it is our first gig as a band.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we're celebrating our birthday the whole dang year. You know what I mean? Like it started. Our birthday is technically April 1st was our first gig.
Okay.
So the joke's on us, as they say. But we're doing this, and it's crazy because um, again, to tie it all in, the idea of longevity and being able to be around these guys and still be able to create music, still be able to tour, still be able to bring our music to people, all over the world and on the streets. It's been a blessing.
It's amazing, man. And I'm sure over the years, I was going to say, does it feel, do you think that kid that started the band would say 30 years later we'd still be a band? And I'm sure that answer would be yes and no over the years. I'm sure
Yeah, I
it
know.
changed
Yeah,
over
of
time.
course, because like in the evolution of things, when you first start, like I said, like the first bands I ever got into were like punk bands and stuff like that, playing guitar. Because at that point it was like, I want to be in a band and I want to, be like Fugazi or something, like,
Right.
yeah, that's cool. And then I think what happened is that I super got into after, post high school. I super got into jazz and I super got into early Jamaican music. And um, the sax and the clarinet, I was always more proficient on. And then I started noticing that like people wanted me to play with them on those instruments, on the sax,
Sure.
hey, you want to come through to this jam? And yeah, I'd be like, no one ever asked me to play punk rock guitar in anything, like it was like,
Right.
this is like, and the other thing that was a huge epiphany for me was that like one of the first bands that I ever started in was this Latin ska band called Yesca. And I remember going to the show and playing the first gig I ever played with, and it like everybody was just dancing their asses off. And I was like, this is the energy I like. I like this is something that resonates with me. Sure, like the pit and all that stuff is cool, but like there was something about everybody in the room just grooving and bouncing at the same time that was like, oh, this is it. So one of the things with Ozo is that I think out of all the styles of music that we play and we kind of blend and mix is that it always wants it to be in somewhat of a dance kind of environment or base.
Mhm. I love it. And that's the thing I love about your band is all the different styles of music you fuse together. And, getting into the show, we got you in our neck of the woods Friday, November 7th at Spotlight 29. And is it going to be more of a 30th anniversary celebration? Are you going to be hitting songs from every album?
I mean, we try to hit every, of course, there's the big songs. It's kind of like our Oye Como Vas Black Magic Woman's. We have to play it. It's like we have to play that song. So it's like our Cumbia de los Muertos. We play those songs no matter what. And of course, and then we also try to incorporate a couple new tunes too, just to let the world know that we're still creating and we're still doing something new.
And do you guys still come out to the crowd, like from the crowd up to the stage and everything?
We usually reserve that now for the end.
Ah,
Like
okay.
at the end of the show, we go out into the crowd.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, man, when you play a show like this one at a casino, is it tough to not stop at one of the tables along the way, or are you real good and real disciplined and like no gambling for me, I'm working.
Well, yeah, yeah. And off the bat, I'm not really a big gambler guy.
Ah,
If anything, at casinos, I'm always the guy that's like, "What's up with the buffet, yo? What's up with the prime rib? Like let's go." Yeah, I'm not a big gambler guy. I can get into it, and that's the thing. I can get into it for the moment, but I'm never like, oh, I got to throw some cash on the blackjack, nah, I always lose, man.
It's funny, man. Talking about the new music, I wanted to touch upon that as well. I mean, we got the new single a few months ago, Redline. Are we working our way towards album number 10?
I mean, I think sooner or later, I mean, the way things are in music, it's always so weird, and how people consume music
Mhm.
nowadays. And compared to, I guess, weird in the sense of compared to when we first started,
Sure, yeah.
and how much the whole industry has changed through the years. So there's this concept of like whether or not just releasing singles is smarter than releasing a whole album. And what does the album mean to certain people, and what does it mean to certain people,
Right.
And of course, I mean, I grew up with a generation of like, uh, you know, worshiping the album, right?
Yeah.
Like the body of
Same.
work, right?
Hmm.
And the art and the liner notes and just staring at things, and you know, um, but now things have changed, and I think for some people it doesn't matter, and it's all about the song, and it's all about content, it's all about keeping the thing going, like
Right.
constantly something new to share with people. So I think all artists in one way or another are adjusting to that. Some I'm sure have already adjusted and know what's up. I mean, I see certain people, like especially in certain scenes, whether it's EDM or whatever, they're like releasing songs on the month,
Right.
they're like, boom, I got a new song, you know? And then forget about it with AI. That's like just
Oh God,
ridiculousness.
that's a
We
whole
don't
nother
even,
conversation.
yeah, 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 yeah. And how that's muscling into like playlists on Spotify and basically assing out real human beings from
Hmm.
making a living, So with the little that we have already as musicians. So, um, it's one of those things. But the good thing is that we've always our live show has always been the thing that kind of our reputation,
Sure.
and I don't think a robot can do that yet.
Nope.
Not yet. And live streaming the festival on your couch is cool a couple times, but it'll never, like, the
Mm-mm.
feeling of the music hitting your chest, the feeling of everybody being there. I think it's something that touches something very primordial in our human evolution, that it's like, I mean, I don't think we're yet to recreate that.
Yeah. Amen. So we're not abandoning the album format, but just kind of wild, wild west and kind of taking our time and playing the new model
Yeah.
now where you roll out 7 singles before the album comes out.
And then all of a sudden you just bunch those singles up and make there was the album. There you
Right.
go. Like, I mean, that's kind of how it is nowadays, and I mean, it's you have to evolve, I guess, and move with the times with a lot of things, as much as I don't want to sometimes, but
Yeah, I mean, I still love the album format. I still love getting lost in music. I love throwing on an album, not playlist, just throwing on an album, press and play, letting it roll, going on a
hmm
drive, whatever the case may be. So
hmm
I'm old school like that, man. I'm hoping for another album.
for sure. I mean, there will be a new Ozo album sooner or later. But I think we just got to get back in the kitchen and start cooking. That's
Hmm.
really what it is. And I know that the guys have been in the studio lately working on new grooves and working on songs. So new material for sure will be coming out with Ozo, and then sooner or later I think we'll probably, like as I said, we'll bunch it or maybe add some extra stuff. But one of the things that is kind of coming down the pipe, which is kind of cool for Ozo, is that we're going to be releasing some live performances that we did at this really
Ah,
cool spot in North Hollywood called Verse. That's an amazing way to record bands live at the venue. And we're also going to be re-releasing the very, very first record
oh,
on
cool,
vinyl again, which,
cool.
it's been a long time coming, and people have been asking us for it. And we've been dealing with it legally for years and years and decades, almost feels like it, but it's all in the pipe, and that'll be something really cool.
Well, I look forward to that, and I appreciate all the time. Last thing I got for you, man, I wanted to dig back to those guitar playing days and those punk rock roots because we're an old school radio station. We do a feature called Mandatory Metallica. Was that it?
Oh, okay, yeah,
Was
okay.
that in the arsenal back in the day?
Um, okay, being that punk rock, right? There was always those bands that was a little bit of a crossover with like
Right.
Slayer, like especially Slayer for me. Metallica for sure. Like I remember super digging that Garage EP Revisited.
Yeah,
Like that was like such a because they're I mean they were all punk rock songs, but Metallica vibe. So then I did go into a Metallica phase for sure. You know, the all those I mean all the Cliff albums I mean are just right like okay that's it right. And then I want to say I fell off by the Black Album, man. Like I mean, just as a kid and just being
sure,
like, oh man, everybody. I mean, the okay. Again, this is the mentality, right? As a young a person, and you're choosing your tribes, and
sure.
you're like, everybody likes this, nah. Like nah. And once those songs blew up on the Black Album, it was just like another level, right? But forget about it, man. Kill 'em all, ride the lightning. Like I mean,
Master.
like I said, I went all the way past. I mean, I super dug Justice for All, even.
Yeah, yeah.
Man.
Well, let me ask you this. I've been having this little Metallica debate, and it goes back to the early albums, Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets, if you had to pick one out of those two.
Ooh. Okay, my punk rock wants to say Ride the Lightning, but I know that Master of the Puppets is like almost like it's like
Masterpiece.
a masterpiece, bro, front to back, dog.
I thought you were
Like
going to
the
say
way
Ride the
that
Lightning.
album comes in, man. Forget it, man. Get it.
From start to finish, from Battery, the first acoustic guitar you hear, and how that song ramps up to
Dude, yeah,
Hell Imogene.
I'd have to say Master of Puppets, but I mean, Ride the Lightning is just is it, come on, man, it's right, dude. That's an amazing record too, but I think not only, I mean, even the artwork for me for Master of the Puppets is
Mhm.
just,
The
you know,
crosses.
dude, with the hands and the little strings, dude, come on.
I thought you were going to say Ride the Lightning for sure, because I feel like the punk rock guys kind of lean that way, because that was a little bit more punkier, dirtier record. You know,
Yes, and it's a dirtier album and it's a dirtier thing, but it's kind of for example for like Iron Maiden. Like the
mhm.
punk rock guys are gonna dig the Paul Diano stuff, man. That's
Right,
the
right.
but I still super dig the
Dickinson.
Dickerson, man. Come on.
Yeah, Bruce.
But that dude, Paul, we got to actually play at this like Eastern European festival with Paul Diano on it. And
Oh,
so I got to
wow.
see him sing those songs, man. It was dope, man. It was dope. Wrathchild, come on,
Oh,
dog.
rest in peace. Rest in
Yeah,
peace.
rest in peace for sure.
Just to put a button on it, man, is there a favorite Metallica song we can play for you on Mandatory Metallica?
Okay, let me think. Um, man, there's so many. Okay, because like which one I just was thinking about, just because I heard a version with the bass boosted up on it was
Ah,
Blackened. Where I
oh,
was
yeah.
like, dude, that is so dope. But I have to pick something from Kill 'Em All. I really do, because that was the album that was just really like man, I super connected to that. So maybe No Remorse.
Okay. I like that. A little bit of a deeper cut. That's not one of the first like
Yeah,
three that
dude.
come up on that
Well,
record.
without it, dude, come on, dude.
Well, beautiful, man. Thank you so much for the time. Blast getting to talk to you, and
Thank you, man.
can't wait for all the live albums and the new music, and of course the show.
Of course. Thank you, man.
Safe travels out there. Bye
All
bye.
right. Have a good one.